Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's issue of Comics Watch. I am Nick. Joining me is Super Wonder Enjoyer Jared. How you doing, buddy?
It's a fantastic. My favorite image is of Super Wonder. I can tell you that right there.
So please, tell the audience, what have you been reading?
Okay, so what I've been reading? So I've been working my way through the George Perez Wonder Woman run. It's so freaking good. Like, oh my gosh. And I've been reading, let's see. I've been reading a bunch. I actually started reading a little bit more of my Mark Grunwald Squadron Supreme omnibus, which was essentially what they did with that. It was essentially Marvel's Watchmen in that it dealt with like the same type of political issues. Like essentially what happens is that the Squadron Supreme, Marvel's Justice League, want to like create a better world. So they basically become benevolent dictators. Like they take away everyone's guns, they start mentally reprogramming all the criminals. Then eventually at the end of the story, they're all like, yeah, we screwed up.
So basically, they are lords of justice.
Yeah, you could say it's a massive injustice.
And then when they asked the Cosmic Supreme, they were like,
"No power in the verse can stop me."
Yes. And I read this interesting take on Wonder Woman by Jill Thompson. It's like a new take on her origin, where basically it talks about how she was a spoiled brat growing up because she was the queen's daughter. Then she royally screwed up and got a bunch of Amazons killed because she was trying to show off. And then that's why she left Themyscira. She was banished.
She was a banished princess.
What's that supposed to be a reference to?
And she could only come back unless she captured the Avatar.
Jeez.
Got him!
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ong.
Pizza time.
So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been reading. I completed my members only Jared's picks, like read through and write ups. So I'm gonna be posting that soon, and just been hanging out. How about you?
I've been reading some stuff. Getting ready to read my the Justice League Power Rangers one.
It's morphin' time.
Up here. Triceratops.
Triceratops. Yeah, I got you.
Of course,
I got you.
But yeah. So speaking of picks and overall making better choices, some people have been really escalating things, Jared. They really have been.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh, wait. And we're back. Sorry about that. So yeah, speaking of things going too far, yeah, so Eric July has really kind of like attracted a new breed of haters.
So, by the way, for context, so you know how Eric July is in the middle of that lawsuit about like the name of his character?
That in itself is a whole bag of work.
No, but I mentioned that just because Eric July has indicated that that he named his character Isom. I believe it's after like his uncle or it was a family member close to him. Let me put it that way. So I have to establish that for the context.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick, what did they do to go too far?
Yeah, so there's really two incidents we're going to talk about, and we're not going to name names. We're not going to show screenshots. We are not going to give these people the time in the sun, which, in my opinion, is really what they want. It's really what they want. So you basically, the first incident happened, like, what was it, like a week, 2 weeks ago, roughly?
Mm-hmm.
you had someone show up to the Rippaverse office, which, by the way, is an unlisted address that is not publicly available information. So, however they got it, which, not good. They showed up to the office. They taped some dollar bills to it, and they did a video, and it was a very poor attempt at an intimidation tactic, in my opinion.
Because I think that person had accused Eric of ignoring his super chats, and that's what the money that he was taping on the thing was.
Even then, that's way too
it
far.
makes it sound worse, right?
Yeah, how insecure, how whatever word you want to use, do you have to be to go to that level? It just, it's bad. It's
the very fact that it's an unlisted address is like, okay, dude.
And that's just a prologue to what we're really talking about. So, the newest one is someone tracked down, the dude's great-grandfather. They tracked down the grave. They went there, and then they took a picture with it. Oh my God, that is stalker behavior. That is straight out stalker behavior.
Yeah, and you never ever, first off, you never involve someone's family in like a personal dispute. You never involve someone's dead family, and you never essentially make a mockery of that because really what that is, that's making a mockery of the whole lawsuit situation. That's why I brought that up earlier.
Like, if someone doesn't like me, they want to Photoshop my pictures on the most embarrassing thing imaginable. Go ahead. You want to do like AI prawn of me doing stuff? Go right ahead.
Put
like
his logo on like a photo of Nightwing and Batgirl kissing.
That's too far. That is too far though. But like, I'm a public figure. I'm the one you're in an argument with. Fair game. But coming to my house, involving my mother, my father, my nieces and nephews, that is too far. Like literally, like come on. This is internet. Like oh my God. I wish I had your drop, but I'm just gonna say it. We're talking about fictional characters here. Fictional characters.
Yes, exactly.
See, like, this is just what I don't get. Like, you want to like wage your harassment campaign against me online? I don't like it, but it is what it is. Like, I don't want you to do that.
You signed up for that. Let's face it. When you start doing stuff, when you start making content or making comics over the internet, to a degree, you sign up for that.
Agreed. But if you have innocent bystanders, like Jared, how would you feel if a Clovis fan literally called up your mother and started trash talking you? Like, they found your mother's number and called your mother and started like saying really nasty things, or like they showed up to your house or whatever.
Yeah, that is not a good scenario.
No, that is not a good scenario. Do not do.
It's not funny. It's not going to work out.
Now, if you want to Photoshop Jared's head onto Lois, please, by all means.
Why onto Lois?
To piss you off.
Okay, I don't know why my head on Lois would piss me off.
And so then Superman can kiss you.
That I don't. Okay.
I'm just trying to think of scenarios that are like.
But the point is, see, here's the thing. Yeah, we're talking about comic books, and people treat it like he kicked a puppy.
Now I want to go pet a puppy. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, if I want to go pet a dog, I just walk next door to my neighbor and pet their dog. So.
Yeah, exactly. But and that's the point. We're not saying you have to like Eric July, but let me put it this way: if you're gonna accuse him of being toxic and then do that, I'm sorry, you're no better than him.
Do not,
like, teacher. He said something I didn't like. Oh, so that gives you free reign to harass the person?
Do not stare into the abyss, lest the abyss stares back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a pretty kind of negative section. If you made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. What's your kind of thoughts about all this drama? Hey, Jared, let's have a palate cleanser, shall we? Let's talk about something positive, uplifting. Let's soar.
It's screeching time.
It really is. So, everybody, I am happy to announce that Screecher is funded! $1,500 in a little over a week. You guys are friggin' awesome. I love you all. Jared, screw you.
Why screw me? I was giving you promotion.
I'm sorry. I just thought that would be funny.
Why do I keep coming on this show?
Because you love our conversations.
Help me. I'm in the basement. You gotta help me.
I love the way you just grip the camera like that. That was pretty funny.
There you go.
So, yep, we're funded. The comic is guaranteed now. And so now we're going for the stretch goals. Let me just kind of scroll down past this beautiful, beautiful art. Oh, God. So if we're at 1,500, if we get 500 more dollars, we'll hit our first stretch goal, which is a 6 a.m. sticker. He's going to do Shiva. That's I'd say it's screeching awesome, as you say.
It makes you want to screech with joy.
Oh dear God, just shut the frick up. So Jared, anything you want to say regarding this?
Congratulations, dude. It's a big accomplishment. I knew this was going to happen because Screecher's a quality product. And was this in the first week?
Little bit past it. The week was up on Friday, so like a week and 2 days. Still
not bad. It's still good. The point is you got funded. That's great. And I, for one, am excited about all the stretch goals you're offering.
Oh yes. We I kind of mentioned them. Like I got the Joe M. Sontag cover at 3,000, the line art book at 2,500. It's pretty good. I guess you could say it's a new image of comics.
Okay, so that was an interesting transition. So, okay, this was kind of a topic that I suggested, and because this is interesting. So, for context, after we recorded last week's episode, Nick and I were doing a little creative meeting to kind of determine what the topic for this show is. And I asked him, do you want to conjecture on if we're due for another image revolution? We'll explain what that means in a second. So, and he said, well, the conditions and everything is like not the same as it was back then, which, hey, that's a fair point. Then this happens. Okay. So at New York Comic Con, a bunch of creatives have formed the company Ghost Machine. Now, here's why this is important. I have an article from the New York Times that we're going to talk about. So do you want to talk about the company first or talk about the origin of Image?
Let's talk. You're already kind of leading into the company, so let's do that anyway.
All right. So Ghost Machine. Here's why this is important. So first off, the one thing about Image I will say, the significant part about the Image revolution was it was all of the top creatives in the industry just up and left and said, we're doing our own thing. What you're seeing here, by the way, so it's kind of funny. I talked about this on my show and I used this for the thumbnail and someone said, this looks like the cover of a boy band album.
I mean, I think I actually have seen boy band albums with the exact same pose. So,
So here's what you got to understand. So what we have here, these are the founders of Ghost Machine. So you got Bryan Hitch, Jason Fabok, Tomasi, Manapul, Gary Frank. I don't know who Maytal Zchut is, whatever. Lamont Magee, Brad Meltzer, and Geoff Johns. So what you have to understand, these are the top people in the industry.
So yes, it's like I do think the Image comparison is pretty apt because you got to remember, the Image people were literally the top talents of the industry. And these currently are like the top talents of the comic industry, or at least some of them.
When Jim Lee is responsible for drawing the #1 selling comic book of all time. Todd McFarlane, top Spider-Man artist. So over here, so you got like Fabok, Geoff Johns is big, But what you want to know, so what they're doing, they're going
Fabok
to...
is pretty big.
He's pretty big. Tomasi's big. So the thing is, they're going to fulfill their obligations to Marvel and DC or whichever company that they had already obligations to. Then they're going exclusive for Ghost Machine. So they're making it so they won't go back to Marvel and DC. Which, by the way, I saw Tomasi coming a mile away because of how they treat it. Because he was forming out his own niche with the Super Sons book, and Tevia's going to show up in the comments as soon as I say this. But and then
Jared, I just had a ding in the comment section. Tevia somehow found a way to comment on this recording.
Yeah, I know. Wow. But anyway,
it's already even open. Yeah, he found a way to comment.
So Bendis showed up, canceled, and took over the Superman book, and then Tomasi was basically thrown by the wayside. So you gotta when you treat a creator like this, who's been at DC since Geoff Johns was on Green Lantern in the odd years of 2000, yeah, you're gonna lose creative talent. But like to give you an idea, Fabok hasn't done a DC book, which is interesting that Fabok was included in this because I hadn't heard his name since Three Jokers like 3 years ago. So he's
still top talent though.
He's still supreme top talent. But it's like when Geoff Johns leaves the company, which I also saw coming because after he bungled the movie universe, and here's the thing, all of his comics either get massively delayed or he openly ignores DC continuity. So what DC probably did is came to him and said, hey, listen, you got to respect continuity, or you got to respect what we're doing. And he's like, nah, I'm good. And then he just left.
Yeah. I mean, Geoff Johns is a talented writer, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with his own stuff, because he has proven that when he actually cares about his project, Stargirl, he does really good work.
Flash, Green Lantern. But I don't. There's a cough going around here. But anyway.
No.
So what you got? So this is why I called this this could be another image revolution, because these are the movers and shakers of at least the DC side, like Manapul specifically.
I think calling this history repeating itself is a pretty accurate statement. Ooh. Because it's literally the same thing is happening. You have top tier talent in the industry leaving to form their own company, to do their own stories. They're literally doing the exact same thing the Image did 20, 30 years prior. Situation's a little bit different. The whole industry is wildly different than it was back then, which we'll get into.
True, but see, here's the advantage that these guys have that the Image founders had. These guys have their own audiences. So the audience will, these were some of the big pulls that people would go to. It's like if DC said we're doing a Jason Fabok book, people would buy that. I would, because he's my favorite DC artist.
Okay, this is a crazy scenario, all right? The new Geoff Johns book is drawn by Ethan Van Sciver.
That could happen now. That could legitimately happen.
Because EVS
drawn by Fabok.
That is also good, but can you imagine the headlines? Because EVS has said on occasion that he still respects Geoff Johns, and I think he would work with him again. So.
Plus, they said that they have more creatives, and they said they have a big name that they signed that they can't wait to announce. But the point is, so again, because back in the day, when you had Silvestri, well, first off, you had McFarlane and Liefeld. Marvel was like, okay, fine, we'll get rid of the bad boys, and even Silvestri. When Jim Lee hopped on, because you got to understand, Tom McFarlane referred to Jim Lee as the dude running for office because he's the company man. If you can lose Jim Lee, that is big. That proves you screwed up.
See, when you have your here's the thing that people don't realize. If you have a Mount Rushmore of comic artists, Jim Lee is on there. If you're talking about the greatest comic artists of all time, let's say 4 people. Kirby, Lee,
Ditko maybe.
Ditko did Spider-Man, but Kirby has such a wealth of work.
John Byrne.
I'm talking greatest of all time. Like,
oh yeah,
you
that's
know,
true.
like we're talking like the goats among goats. There's like four
Well,
people.
Todd McFarlane.
Okay, sure.
You can't leave him out of that, I would say.
Yeah, because like
And
the thing is these Mount Rushmore people, they had such a profound impact on the medium. You know, Kirby for sure. I just don't want it to be all 90s.
George Perez. You can't not put George Perez on there, Nick. You can't not.
Okay, so we got Kirby, Perez, Lee, and then one more person. I don't know. I don't still want another 90s person on there.
I'm not gonna put Fabok on there because he's great, but the guys that have had like that have like defined. Arguably, he is like a modern master, but we're going by like guys from the past.
Yeah, like Farland is there too. It's just I want someone from like all across like the comic book history.
John
Romita.
John Romita's on there. That's
No. That's my number 4 pick because John Romita's style has influenced so many comic book artists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like John Romita's art. So we got George Perez, Jim Lee, Jack Kirby, and John Romita.
I know this is another 90s one, but you got to put Michael Turner on there.
Ugh,
you keep coming out with these rules, and I'm like, we can't leave this guy out.
Well, by the way you're doing this, Jared, the Mount Rushmore is going to have like 500 heads.
It's going to be like the entire Grand Canyon length.
Oh dear God. Okay, we made our point.
The point is, when you lose like that much talent at once, by the way, that is like really big.
Done ducked up.
And the fun story. I love this. This is my favorite story of the founders of Image. So after they left Marvel, they told Marvel, screw you guys, we're out. They went to DC. And DC was like, oh my gosh, McFarlane and Lee are coming to DC. This is so great. Quick, sign them on a contract. And then McFarlane goes, oh, wait, okay, so wait a second. We're actually here just to tell you we'll never come work for you.
I'm sorry, but like if I was directing the biopic for that, I would literally just like pause and then like have the sunglasses come down.
Yeah. But
I don't care how stupid it is, but
here's
like,
the funny part.
A gangster moment.
So DC's like, no, wait a second. Why don't you come work for us? Because we just created this new like contract for like creators' rights and everything like that. And then he goes, okay, so let me ask you this. When you came up with that contract, did you consult a creative person once? They didn't.
Can we consult you right now, please?
No. And he's like, we're out. Then they left. That was the big thing. And again, see, the difference between back then and now is because back then you also had like the people buying every comic because they thought it was going to finance their college education.
Yeah, that's the other thing about like the thing that really helped Image is Image was formed in the middle of the comics bubble. Like that's why Spawn #1 sold like what 2 million copies or something.
Yeah,
like
it was huge.
I mean, you had the hottest comic book artist of the time, Todd McFarlane. He had left Marvel, and that was a big deal. And he's creating this character called Spawn that looks really cool and looked really unique. And like, oh, they get to say the F-bomb. There's tidies.
We get to have boobs in this comic.
Exactly. It was a perfect storm for it to sell well. And even the comics that we don't remember, like Youngblood, they still sold really well.
I have some first printings of Youngblood and Wildcat.
Yeah, you got to remember, all these comics were in the same
they came out like one after the other, practically.
Like if you read the early images of Spawn, they do reference Youngblood.
Yeah, even though it's gone back and forth on if all these books exist in the shared cinematic universe, we'll go into that later. Then you also had a certain fan of Image show up named Robert Kirkman, and I'll never. And by the way, that's another comic creator who is like one of the greats because of the breadth of work that this guy's done, but I love the story where he pitched The Walking Dead, because the zombie craze was not when he was like first starting out. It was not there yet. So he pitched it to Image, and they said, hey, listen, dude, we don't think a zombie book is going to sell well. So he said, oh, I didn't tell you the other thing about this book, because he was pitching The Walking Dead. Sound familiar? So what they said was, so what he said was, actually, it's the precursor to an alien invasion. They send it's like a zombie plague sent out by the aliens. I'm going to be laying out all of these like breadcrumbs for you to pick up. So from issue 1 to the end, you'll figure it out. So he's like, okay, fine. They publish it. It does gangbusters. And then they say, hey, Robert, I'm not seeing anything about this alien threat. He goes, oh, I just told you that so you'd publish the book. And it was selling so well, they couldn't fire him. They're like, well done, sir.
Literally, if that thing wasn't selling gangbusters, his butt would be out the door.
Nope. And so, yeah, the Walking, it got to the point where like the highest selling of Walking Dead was whatever just came out. What was the second best selling Walking Dead issue? The one that came out previously.
Yeah, and that did lead to the TV show, because the thing you got to realize is in the late 90s, early 2000s, vampires ruled the day. Like that was kind of like the big thing, you know. Zombies, I would actually say came about later. Like you had stuff like 28 Days Later. I can't believe I just did it that way. And Walking Dead was also a part of that. Yeah, the zombies are more of a late 2000s kind of thing.
Yeah, and then it's also from Kirkman that you get a little thing called Invincible, which is it's a not that well known product, but which is basically a joke about modern comics, which I love it. It's awesome.
So speaking of that, an Omni-Man is in Mortal Kombat. Can you imagine the kind of ego boost to have your character in Mortal Kombat? Which, Jared, you do realize that Omni-Man and Homelander are in the same game. And so we're gonna see.
I'm gonna go back and forth on which ones I'm playing as.
And with the Mortal Kombat games, they trade barbs back and forth. Like, I cannot wait to see like Omni-Man just be like, I don't give a whatever about you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. But so that's the context thing is that's the difference here. The reason why I think this could still work for these guys is because of the name recognition, because these guys always sell books for the most part. Tomasi's kind of half and half, but the point is, if you get like a Geoff Johns book with Manapul or Geoff Johns or like Fabok or Gary Frank, that will sell a book, as in the case of like Three Jokers and Doomsday Clock.
And then you also have like who else could they bring in? Like imagine they bring in Mark Silvestri, Greg Capullo, Dale Keown.
This company is still under Image, so if Silvestri or McFarlane want to come on and do a variant cover, it's very easy for them to do that.
or even like, we have this character for Ghost Machine. Oh, Spawn's doing a crossover with them. Yeah,
exactly. So, and yeah, the cool part about this, and I said this on the stream, is first off, this has got to be like a big blow to DC's ego, because these were all like, because like not only the three I just mentioned, you got Meltzer, you got Bryan Hitch, all these guys that made DC. The top talent that I've been saying for years DC has to try and get back. They just said we're not going back because they're going to be exclusive to this company. That's the key thing here.
Yeah. Like I could definitely see Spawn crossover with some of these characters,
Exactly.
I could see it happening.
And the thing is that this has got, particularly in a time period where it's being estimated that Warner Brothers may be sold. Can you imagine the headline? You wake up and the top creatives, even if you don't really care about the comic book division, but top creatives from your comic book company just up and left.
Yeah, because here's the thing. People are saying comics are dying. And mainstream comics are dying, but not for the reason you think. The love for comics is still there. I mean, look at any of these major Kickstarters, Indiegogos, these crowdfunds. These campaigns make a crap ton of money. Hell,
yes.
Look at me. I just got $1,500 for my comic in a week, and that's in my microcosm. Eric
Yeah.
July gets $3 million, $2 million. People still love comics. The love and passion is still there. But like the writing's on the wall for Warner Brothers. Like, did you hear about how Warner Brothers is licensing out some of their characters of Dynamite?
Yeah, and you just see that, like, apparently, they're licensing out a bunch of their comics. And then my question is, you have a comic book a publishing company. You had He-Man published by DC back in the day. But again, that has got to be a big like F you to DC.
It is. It is both a test and a harbinger of things to come. Like, I guarantee you, that is like they saw the writing on the wall. Now we are seeing the writing on the wall. I would not be surprised if Warner Brothers starts licensing out their characters. Which, by the way, 2025 you can read Batman as published by the Phoenix Press.
By the way, so check this out. So this is Fabok's character.
Oh,
this is Geiger. Geiger is Geoff Johns' created character. His whole thing is that he's been irradiated, so he like glows with radiation. The cool part about this comic, I reviewed the first trade on my show. Look at the art and the way it's colored. It looks like he's actually glowing.
What is it with Geoff Johns and green glowing characters?
Yeah, he wrote an epic story about blue glowing characters. But so yeah, that's the thing that we really wanted to bring up, because yeah, this right here. So I 100% agree with Nick. Comics are not going anywhere. Granted, the enthusiasm may be low, maybe not where it used to be. However, and this is a big however, with the prevalence that superheroes are in our pop culture, they're not going anywhere. Again, I 100% agree. Superhero fatigue is not a thing because there's too many examples of people getting really excited for superhero stuff. But the thing is,
to rehash that argument, it's like every time someone talks about superhero fatigue, lo and behold, a Spider-Man No Way Home comes along. They announce Deadpool with Wolverine coming in, and instantly people are really enthusiastic. And it's the same thing with movies. It's like people are like, oh, no one wants to go to movies. Then Barbenheimer happened, and literally that proved that theory wrong.
Oppenheimer is the highest grossing World War II movie of all time.
No, I'm doing the whole Barbenheimer.
Well, yeah, that too.
It's like the thing that I've said this multiple times. People there is no superhero fatigue. There is no movie fatigue. There's bad comics fatigue. There's bad movie fatigue. People are just sick and tired of mediocre products. So they go away. They do the old stuff. But as soon as you do a quality product, they are right there to support it.
Yeah, and I got news for you. The funny thing about that whole superhero fatigue thing, that's just an excuse for these companies to keep putting out the same content that is cratering their profit margin.
No, it's an excuse to excuse themselves from blame. Like, oh, these movies aren't doing bad. It's because they're superhero fatigue. We're just gonna go milk video games now, and then 10 years
there's video game fatigue, Nick.
By the way, you owe me a Coke.
Yeah. But and the thing is, and that's why this is healthy. I said this when the Ripperverse was showing up. Healthy competition is good, because when this is big, it forces Marvel and DC more so because, again, of how of the where this talent comes from, to reevaluate how they're doing things and going, what they're doing is working, what we're doing is obviously not. How do we get some of that success?
Like, I've been saying this, I think privately for a while now, but I'm going to say this publicly now. Eric July and the Ripperverse is the disruption that the comic book industry has desperately needed for some time now. And that's why Eric gets the kind of reaction that he gets, is because he is the exact kind of disruption we have needed.
Yes, 100%, because he proved that you can leave you don't need the big two to get this level of success.
Yeah. Now granted, he had the big YouTube following before that, but I don't think, I think that's part of it, but you don't get the 3 million just based off of YouTube. Like, I'm sorry.
No, you don't. That does not happen. But the point is, and that gets down to this. I think that this will be a success because look at the pool of talent you got here. Fabok, Lee, and like Tomasi are enough, but you got also Brad Meltzer, you've got Gary Frank, you got guys that when people think of modern comics, they think of these gentlemen, these ladies and gentlemen. They think of these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So since we've been talking about Image, I figure let's kind of cap things off with talking.
Okay.
What me and Jared are going to do is we are going to come to a consensus on a top 5 Image books. Now, not individual issues, but just like the titles.
Okay.
And these can include stuff from Kirkman, anything under the Image umbrella. Okay. So Wildstorm.
I think it's safe to say, I'm going to propose Spawn #1.
Yes, that's
because when you think of Image, you think of Spawn.
Was Top Cow under the Image banner?
Yes, it was. It was Sylvester's company. So Witchblade.
yes. Witchblade is part of there. One comic that will not be a part of that is Savage Dragon. Specifically including that as a.
I haven't read it, so I can't
Please
I have read some Wildcats. Wildcats is pretty good.
All right, so since we're also including other stuff, we're only going to include one Kirkman book. So Jared,
Invincible.
Well, I was going to say we had the choices between Invincible and Walking Dead, but
personally, I'm more of a fan of Invincible. That's just me.
I kind of pick Walking Dead because it has had more of a cultural impact.
True. Go with in that case for the impact alone, Walking Dead, because that single-handedly started the zombie craze.
Well, that era zombie craze.
Yeah,
that zombies tend to come and go.
Yeah.
All right, so right now we have Spawn, Witchblade, Walking Dead,
Fathom? too much Top Cow. We might as well just say everything Top Cow.
I mean, I really want to say one can never have enough Mike Turner, but I need to be objective about this. All right, so we got 3 of them. What other Image book do you want to put on there? Because there's been a bunch of Image books that have been really impactful or important or whatever.
Yeah, let me see. Probably. I'm looking at my Image books right now.
Yeah, because the problem with Wildcats is
Berserker. Actually, no, that is not Image. I was about to say Berserker, but nope.
That would have been quite the breathtaking pick.
Yeah, I would have had to extinguish a candle wick. Just the eye close. Whenever I annoy Nick and he just closes his eyes, he doesn't have to say anything. That's all I need. Really,
Jared.
This is why Superman works alone.
Do we say?
Yeah, I kept that clip.
Do we say Wildcats?
We were talking about it. Like I was saying, Wildcats had a bit of an impact in the 90s, but really not much after that.
But the thing is that those characters still exist in the DC universe today. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm pretty plugged in, and I barely know about the Wildcats.
All right, can we have the other Kirkman book additionally? Do you think that had an impact?
I mean, it's had an impact. I mean, its impact is still being felt. But all right, fine. Just to fill up the list.
Of the ones that, because there are more that I could put on if I were doing my personal list, but since we have to collaborate, I have to think of books Nick likely has read.
Oh my god. All right, so here's a list. We got Spawn, Walking Dead, Invincible, Witchblade, and then what was the 5th one?
Okay, yeah, we probably should have been writing this down.
We should have been writing this down.
Okay, so it's Spawn, The Walking Dead, Witchblade, Invincible. I proposed Wildcats, but we shot that down.
I swear there's another one we mentioned. Yeah, because anything under the Image umbrella. So, oh no, Tomb Raider.
Yes. Speaking of Michael Turner,
I found a way.
what's your favorite? What is our favorite Image books? Is it drawn by Michael Turner? Put that on the list. Well, in your defense, Nick, he's drawn some pretty solid books.
Yeah, and even the stuff that he's inspired looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean.
Yes, it did. So, yeah, so we got a solid one for that. It's like anything Michael Turner did, it goes on the list.
Did Michael Turner do it? Yes. Then it's on the list.
How many Michael Turner books are you going to put on this list? Yes.
So shout out to Princess Sparkle Corrigan for doing this Michael Turner inspired cover.
That's the cover I got because I'm a big Mike Turner fan.
And can I just say she did an amazing job with it. Like she nailed the Mike Turner.
She got the proportion. Somehow it looks like it was an actual Mike Turner drawn thing. Because the thing about Mike Turner is that a defining feature of his art style is the thin hips, and she got that to a T.
Those hips do not lie.
Yeah, but it's like it looks like that style when you think of Michael Turner.
Yeah, just look at the coloring too. The shading is really good on this.
Yeah, and my favorite part actually is the cape because she drew individual feathers.
That must have been a pain in the butt.
That had to be because the detail on this cover is what sells it.
Yeah, it's really good. It is.
And that's
really
why I
good.
went for this one because I'm like, no, I want the Mike Turtle cover.
And she even made Avery a redhead, which I'm actually considering making Avery redhead in the next volume.
Oh, you mean having her change her hair?
Yeah.
Please do that. We need more redhead, Nick, for representation's sake.
I don't think I'll do it like mid in
the middle of a battle. She's like spraying red hair.
No, like I don't think I'll have it do it like because we're gonna work on issue 3 next, and like I don't know, like there is a scene in issue 3 where she's like infiltrating, and like she could like that might be an excuse. We'll think about it.
No, but Nick, you got redheads need representation too. Nick, don't be a hairist. I got him.
All right. On that note, Jared, do you have any final words?
Yeah, DC, your move. We need that Obi-Wan Kenobi meme. Your move.
No, it's like your move, Yu-Gi-Oh. Like yeah, that thing. All right. So this has been Nick for the Phoenix Press. Thank you, Jared, for once again testing the limits of my sanity. And remember,
one of these days I'll get you.
What?
Just remember.
Hello there.